Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe and Miraculous Ladybug, among others. I am Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hello.
Today, Delaney and I will be discussing the latest episode of the English dub of Miraculous Ladybug, Darkblade. It aired yesterday night on Nickelodeon. We cover the English dub of Miraculous Ladybug every week here on the Overly Animated Podcast. It is now airing Sunday nights, and we will either have podcasts up probably Sunday nights or Monday nights. You can find out everything about this podcast at overlyanimated.com. Subscribe to us, Overly Animated Podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. As always, spoilers for only the English dub of the show and not for the Korean or French versions, which are now officially desynced. I'll have a word on that in a second. But yeah, you're safe. I think everyone who watches this is not only watching the dub like us, so you all are safe. Yeah,
they know things we don't know.
Exactly. Okay, today was a big day for Miraculous Ladybug as the part one of the origin story aired in Korea. Korea is very far behind France. I've looked all this up, and I'm trying to educate myself so I don't sound dumb for you all. But Korea is very far behind France, yet they decided to air the origin story before they started catching up. So if you are not aware of that and you just watch the French version, beware of spoilers. Because I definitely, I mean, obviously, I'm assuming there's going to be big spoilers in the origin episode. I think that's the finale, so I don't really understand what's happening, but whatever. I don't know what's happening with the show. Anyway, we have that to look forward to in like 20 episodes or something.
Woo!
Hooray! Yeah. No, it's and also France is airing regular episodes. We're not that far behind. We're on episode 12 here, and they just aired episode 20. We're 8-9 behind. Okay, so that'll be good. But yeah, watch it. Don't spoil us with the origin story,
no.
And don't get yourself spoiled if you're only watching the French version. Also,
stay safe out there.
Stay safe. Also, it's now airing in Canada, and apparently they're airing it like really fast. So it's like, is the Canadian version going to pass the French version? We'll see about that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't even know if the Canadian version is in English or French, because it could be either, right? So I don't know.
Well, I mean, it depends on like where in Canada.
Yeah, I mean,
they really only speak French in one part of Canada.
Well, it's like, I mean, okay, yeah. Well, it's like a lot of it area-wise, but not necessarily population-wise. I assume, yeah. Anyway, I don't know how Canadian TV shows. I assume most of it's in English, but whatever. Okay, so we're gonna get into Darkblade here. We have much to talk about on this one. Very pertinent episode. I don't know if Nick's kind of airing them in order now, but if Nick purposely aired this on the Sunday before Super Tuesday, then good job for you, Nick. You definitely did not do that, but it was very relevant election wise. So much comparisons to be made between Chloe and Donald Trump, and much moralia to talk about here.
Oh God!
Do you want to get started on the Chloe Donald Trump comparisons?
I mean, I guess you should just jump right in.
No, I don't know if there's a lot. Everyone hates Chloe. I mean, everyone hates Donald Trump, but she has no following. She has to, Okay.
I definitely hate Donald Trump more than I hate Chloe.
No, Chloe's the best. Also, okay, so shipping wise, this was a big Maralia episode for sure.
100%.
And this was also, I think, I didn't even know this was a ship, but Chloe and Marinette. I think this was a big.
Who ships that?
Me now.
No,
I'm number
Dylan,
one shipper.
Stop.
Also, Sabrina and Marinette? Question mark.
I kind of see that a little
bit. Their
bit.
Faces were like really close in one.
Do people ship Sabrina and Chloe? Like,
I doubt it.
Like, how can you ship Marinette and Chloe, but not Sabrina and Chloe?
No, I ship Marinette and Chloe.
This makes no sense.
I am number one. I'm gonna name the ship because it's my ship. I'm gonna name it.
Oh, this is Zuki. Okay. So, okay.
No.
Clarification. Dylan's like, oh, people ship this. No, Dylan actually is the only person.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. No, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one that shipped this Avatar ship, Zuki, which everyone hates. And then I posted about it at like, I'm gonna do a fandom week for this ship because I was trolling. And then someone was like, we already did a week, but welcome to
Like, good job.
Okay, so there's people who ship everything, but yeah, Marley, Chloette.
Chloette's like kind of cute.
Chloette. Let's do Chloette. Okay, Chloette is the ship name. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, Darkblade. I think we have a new contender for our most OP villain, but
yes.
for sure. But what did you think of the episode overall?
I enjoyed it. Like, the framing of the episode is really interesting, and yes, it was like aired before Super Tuesday, probably not intentionally, but I don't know, it was a fun episode. Darkblade was really interesting as a villain. Like, why does he feel the need to speak like he's from the 13th century? I don't know. His design is cool, and he's also like mega OP. What the heck? Just, I'm gonna knight people. Also, he can like turn cars into catapults. I just, I enjoyed it. I don't know, like, also I think this is one of our first episodes where we really see Marinette acting like Ladybug as Marinette. Like, Marinette
Oh,
really came
interesting.
into her own
This was
this
definitely a big
episode.
Marinette character, right?
Like, and
Episode.
it was really great. And also, and we talked about this I think last week about more. We wanted to see more about this struggle between being Marinette and being Ladybug. And we had this in this episode. Like, Nick, how did you know? Like, the show is answering our questions. We actually had an episode talking about, like, it's a little bit more about time. It's literally like Marinette had to choose. Am I going to be Ladybug in this moment, or am I going to be Marinette? I mean, she did
Yes.
both, but it worked out really well.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one, yeah, it's attempting to be a big Marinette character episode. It seems like, I don't know, to a certain extent, it seems like an early episode of the show. Um,
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, and like the villain's like not even important. Like, he's just in the background. The big thing for me is like Tiki in the beginning is like,
Terrifying.
how do you know? Obviously, Tiki's terrifying. I got warned on Tumblr this week.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
One of you good patrons warned me that in episode 20, Tiki's going to be incredibly terrifying. So I will keep that in
Hide
mind.
your face, Dylan.
I might just have to like avert my eyes during that. It's not that wouldn't help though. It's the voice. It's the voice that does it. But it's Tiki in the beginning of the episode was like, how do you know you can't do it unless you try or something, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, Marinette's like repeats her and is like, I didn't know I could do it until I tried it. And
we have moments. I mean, we've talked about this before, that the show has like so much potential, and then we continue to do these things where it's like, really, do we have to have this? Like, what lesson did we learn today, kids?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the show's really done this before, so it's more of like
we've had one or two before like this, and we've had this discussion before.
Yeah, this was the most overt like weekly moral to me for sure. And like I'm not saying it's like terrible to have this type of thing, but it's definitely childish, right? Your most childish character like pantomiming a moral in the beginning of the episode. Childish.
Also, we literally have like a diary being stolen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about the rest of. I think the rest of the plot was fine. Like every plot they do is a little bit tropey, but yeah, I'm a little annoyed that a big Marinette character episode was like hidden behind the moral of the week, which is kind of like, and we will discuss this, but like, is that even a good like thing for Marinette to be learning? Right? I guess it's good that she's like not doubting herself, and this is like it makes sense in growing Marinette's self confidence, and I'm interested. I mean, I just the origin episode definitely on my mind. It's like I can't wait to see Marinette if we do see her before she was Ladybug, right? Because we're always talking about like, last week we were talking about how Marinette is like growing. She's like more confident as Ladybug, and this week we do get to see her be like probably her most confident as Marinette, right? And you said that earlier. And it's interesting to like see this. Is this like a progression? It's hard to like see forward movement on a show that's not continuous.
Yeah, like we don't, and
like,
we have
when does this episode take place? Like,
and we don't have any starting point for Marinette.
So I'm just like dying for something that we know is before or after something else, and the origin episode is before. Like, so that's just going to be so valuable to actually doing anything concrete with any of these characters. The problem is, how much can you truly characterize in a show that has no concrete like timeline? And the answer is you can do a lot, probably.
Well, we've done quite a bit, I think, in like
we've done a lot in this show, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and in like creating our characters and giving them depth.
I mean, let's look towards like other shows like have done this. Like the one that comes to mind, Simpsons, is not continuous at all. Simpsons has incredible characterization, considering that these characters stayed the same age for like 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's possible, but you wouldn't expect it for the show to be capable of doing intense characterization in its first season without having a continuous plot. So, yeah, do you think that this is the best the show has to offer in terms of Marinette characterization episodes?
I mean, thus far, I think so. Like, this is probably for Marinette specifically. Like, this is like because the thing is, we talk about Marinette's character, but we can only talk about Marinette's character on a continuum. And by a continuum, I mean like we continue to get pieces. Obviously, we don't have time. Like we can only assume that we're watching the show and like they don't really have an order, but we're watching them in a certain order. So like we kind of think of it in that way, even though that's not really the actual order because Nick doesn't even air them in order. But like we can think of it as a continuum of like all these pieces that are Marinette coming together, and we're seeing more and more of Marinette. So I like to think of it more of as a reveal than as like development. Which for right now, that's fine. Like that's because we don't have a continuous plot. Like what is there to develop? We don't really know everything about these characters yet. So I think it's more of like a reveal, and I think this works really well given that we have like this character of the week thing. This villain of the week thing, because then we have this like it's a stagnant plot type. The show isn't stagnant. Like we do things, and they do very unique things with like this very like kid show, setup. But for right now, like when we're like literally are just having villains every week and like kind of the same stuff happens, I think this continuum, this like revealing of pieces of the characters works really well. And it'll continue to work well until hopefully the origin episode, if not before.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a spot on characterization of what the show like is right now. It's like it's a reveal. It's a piecing together of a puzzle, not an unfolding of an arc. So that's different for us, right? I'm not
Yeah.
used to analyzing things like that. Like this is the first show that we've probably I question mark like Rick and Morty and Rick and Morty is not is continuous and
Well, I would say Rick and Morty does kind of like reveal things because like it's
it's a little
continuous,
bit
but
of the
not
same
really.
dynamic. Yeah, it's definitely not. Anyway, the point is like this is the first like one of the first shows that we have analyzed that's not a continuous plotline, right?
Yeah.
So it's I'm unused to trying to critically evaluate it. Like I just I can't. This episode's in like I'm thinking like how would this episode function as part of a more structured arc for Marinette because this is like a mini Marinette arc in and of
Yeah.
itself, kind of. Like honestly, it goes well with last episode. I don't know if last episode was like what we are talking about, or we just happened to talk about it last week, you know.
Yeah.
But like this is definitely a big episode for like one of the big themes is like Marinette gains a lot of confidence as when she turns into Ladybug, and this is like her transferring her competence. Maybe it's like it's not just that she's Ladybug, that she has confidence in herself. She can have it as when she's Marinette too, but it's like her leadership, her like morality and helping people. It's it's her qualities, not necessarily her like state as herself or her superhero persona that makes her who she is, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Which
that's kind of the episode's like big like takeaway and like morals about Marinette, not just like the dumb thing Tiki said.
yeah. And I think like and I don't necessarily think that like this structure is necessarily like lesser than like an arc because like let's take Scooby Doo like as an example of like a show of a monster of the week. Hello, that's literally Scooby Doo. But everyone knows, I would hope so, like Shaggy, Scooby, Daphne, Velma, Fred, like you know the characteristics that make up these characters and who they are. But like every week, Scooby and Shaggy, like they all do the same thing every week. Like there's no change. And sometimes you find out things like, oh, Daphne's a black belt and blah blah blah. Or Velma has like this weird cousin. Scooby Doo has like 5 bajillion different relatives and they show up randomly in episodes. But that's not like characteristics, those are just facts. That's different from how we do it in Ladybug. Like we actually like see like not development, but like actual revelations of how these characters are as people. And I think this is kind of a standout from the general kind of like villain of the week. Like with Scooby Doo, it's like there's no change. Like I mean, I adore Scooby Doo, but like Scooby, Fred, like they're always going to be the same. Here, we're actually figuring more and more things out. Like kind of Meredith's not becoming a different person the more we know about her, but we're like actually learning more about her as like a person.
Yeah, so what you're saying is like we should praise the show. This is one of the best examples that we can think of, or
Yeah.
you're saying that it's one of the best examples I know of that is a non-continuous plot arc that's hitting this level of characterization, right?
And it's probably contradicting something I've said, like when we talked about like how much potential this show has.
I don't remember, but but yeah, it's
I
yeah.
can change my mind.
I mean, we're like we can be critical of the show, say it has potential that it's not realizing, and still say it's
Yeah.
doing a good job for what it is right now, which is
Yeah.
basically exactly what I think of the show, right?
Well, and
Like,
it'd be really interesting too if we went from this like villain of the week to a continuous arc and like how these will feed into each other. Or
yeah,
like we can have this villain of the week and have a continuous arc. I mean, that's what Gravity Falls did for a little bit.
it
Like
did, yeah. I'd be fascinated if season 2 was continuous, right? Like that would be
like
incredible.
we can do this. Like we just got to have all the pieces come together.
Yeah. So like I mean it's like my attitude towards the show. It's like it has a lot of potential, it's not realizing, it's not incredible, but for what it's doing, it's obviously it's a lot of fun and fun to watch. That's the main like thing that it has going for it. But it's also just doing a lot considering what it is. And that's reflected in this week. Like I didn't think this episode was incredible. I think it's basically in the same tier that the past 10 episodes have been in, right?
Yeah.
Like this show's just been consistently good, not great, just for a
Yeah.
while now, which is fine. I really, like I said last week, I really appreciate that. Every other show I watch almost is not consistently good. It has a down episode here and there.
Yeah.
Like
Ladybug's consistent.
it's consistent. It's not like super high quality, but it's consistently good. But yeah, but this episode not that great. It had some great elements to it, and just thinking back on it, like I'd say just like the quick like obvious theme analysis, like I was saying, like Marinette learns that the confidence that she gains when she's Ladybug is within herself, not just her persona. It's her qualities that make her herself, not her persona. And beyond that, basic theme analysis of this show Marinette functioning as a teenager. This is definitely a big element of like teenagers in our society, like gaining confidence in yourself, in terms of a coming of age thing. Marinette like figuring out like who she is, the aspects of her personality. So like it's her superior persona representing her gaining confidence as an individual as she navigates teenager dumb or whatever, right? So, and I appreciate that the show like has some level of depth to it like that, right? Like I
Yeah.
think that's pretty good and interesting thematic work, given like that the show really could just be way more childish than it is.
And yeah, we would probably prefer it wasn't spoon fed to us, but it's better than it not having any depth at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that what I just said was necessarily spoon fed. I mean,
Well,
it seems
I mean, we have like when I'm talking about is like when we have really obvious lines. Like we had some really obvious, like we
yeah.
had
So
on the
I mean, we
nose
need to
lines.
discuss whether that Tiki line is like representative of the analysis that I just did, right? And like to a certain extent, it's a given for us. What I just said, it wasn't super deep. It's like I'm not to pat ourselves in the back, but we're consistently on that sort of level, right? So, so that type of thing is not it's not super hard to get to, but like I don't think it's super evident from watching the episode. I think it was a little bit. I think it was subtle with Marinette confidence stuff.
Well, it's like I wasn't as like upset about it as like not that you're upset about it, but like I thought it was less of an
I'm
issue
praising no everything I've
than
said in the
previous
past
episodes.
2 minutes has been a praise. Like
Yeah.
for that.
Well, I just meant like you were talking about how like earlier when we started, you were like, oh, but like talking about how it like.
Well, let's talk about that Tiki line and like whether it relates to what I just said, right? Like,
Mhm.
so Tiki's like Marinette's right correctly. Tiki's like, you should be you should be class representative, which I feel like is a little bit out of character for Tiki, but
Like Tiki should be like, no, you need to be Ladybug like 900% of the time.
I mean, I guess it's in character because Tiki like genuinely does care about Marinette, or that's
Yeah.
what the show's presenting us. I am a skeptic because
Skeptic.
Tiki is the true villain and she's evil. But it's as the show is trying to present us that Tiki like cares about Marinette. So Marinette's like, no, I don't have time for that. And I'm like, obviously you don't have time for that. Every episode is you running around different places and not juggling like your duties. So you're going to be class representative on top of that? I don't think so. But Tiki's like, no, how do you know you can't do it unless you try? And then at the episode, that's what Marinette says. So is let's start like needing. I guess that does relate to our confidence thing in that Tiki's like, you can do it. How do you know you can't do it? You're great. You need to have confidence in yourself, right? So I guess that's kind of what she's saying at the end. Although it's you need to like take away the context of the time commitment.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like on the surface, Tiki's saying like you could do more things. You just you just have to
Well,
like.
it's really funny though, because like Marinette literally doesn't have time. Like I don't know why. Like,
That's this episode just stands out because we've had like 3 episodes where she just the entire plot is her just not having enough time to do things, right?
and
So
I completely 100% relate to Marinette. This
yeah,
is my life.
yeah. I relate in her not wanting to do more things because you're too busy as it is,
Like
Marinette.
I'm
Like,
not a superhero, but like I have
aren't
so
you though? Would you tell me if you were though?
would I? I don't know.
I mean, if you had Tiki telling you not to tell anyone, even your best friend, right?
I
Like,
know. I don't know if I don't know. Would I tell you? I mean, Alia doesn't know.
Alia doesn't know. We need to talk about that. Screw this thematic discussion. We need to get into our
You
Alia.
talk about Alia and Marinette, darn it.
But yeah, wrapping this up. Yeah, I guess the takeaway of Tiki's line is not that is. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, well, there's two things going on. I mean, we would say like the thematic of this show seems to be like Marinette, how like Ladybug feeds into Marinette's confidence, how her confidence feeds into being Ladybug, and how this persona relates to her as like a person. Like I would say that's really the thematic of the whole show, and like every episode, like in some way contributes to that.
It's definitely one part of it. I mean, I think that it's easy. It's easy to, given this episode was all about that. It's easy to say that's most of the show, but
Yeah.
I do think that's one of the biggest thing I would say. Like that's also the entire thing with them as the whole they don't know each other as you bring Cat Noir into it, and it's still a confidence thing, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a big thing. So this episode is like a you could interpret this as like a mission statement for the show's basic themes.
Yeah. Like it was definitely more there. Like we've had this discussion like numerous times. Like we talk about this basically every episode. And like this is definitely it's more like present here.
So let's so I'll interpret Tiki's lines as believe in yourself rather than uh like you can do everything you set your mind to, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't
I
like
mean,
that. I
well, I
don't like
think it
that
can
as
be
much
both,
as
but
it is. It's
like
supposed to be the latter, but like I'm going to interpret it as the former. Like it's not like I don't like you can do everything you set your mind to. Like I don't know. It's easy for you to say all powerful eternal being. Thanks. So.
right.
Like I'm just a teenage girl grappling with my time commitment to school,
And being
being
your
a superhero,
superhero.
and keeping a stalker collection of my crush, right? Like,
Right. Like,
and
yeah.
apparently having a poster for my favorite pop star who's never been mentioned until now, and we've never seen the poster for him before,
Even though it's a giant poster.
even though it's just this giant poster that's there.
And
Yeah,
everyone loves him.
just apparently everyone loves him. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I'll interpret it like that. But I wasn't thrilled with the overtness, but I did like the overall thematics of the episode, and it's a good Marinette episode. Let's talk about Miralia here.
Yes.
So obviously, the thing that stands out is the ends when their arms around shoulders, and they get the end of episode portrait.
And they get the gayest, like,
The gayest end of episode portrait. Wow, what a bold
ever.
statement.
Am
Wow,
I wrong though?
no, obviously, like out of the 12 that there are, this would be the gayest. Yes, I
This is
agree.
the gayest.
Um,
And like the French flag is behind them, like
no, it's yeah. This is representative of New France. Is
like
the gay ship of Marinette and Alia, right? Like
so
that's
great.
New France. Yeah. But the more than that though, the big moment for me is I'm trying to. We'll have to go through the outline to get them all, but it's Alia petting Marinette. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think is that
So
right? I
good.
think it's not Alia petting Marinette, not Marinette petting Alia. Yeah, no, like literally, like
So good.
it was. I don't remember the context, but that was like the best thing.
Just, they're so cute. It's ridiculous.
Let's go through that outline quickly. Yeah, we have the whole thing with her diary, which we need to talk about. Like, why you keeping a diary when your entire thing is about keeping your identity secret? Like, okay.
Like, yeah, of course you have a diary, of course.
Um,
Also, I'm kind of surprised it's like an actual diary. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we're at the point now where you can keep like digital diaries.
yeah, that's true. Why aren't you just why don't you? I mean, I know it's 2016, but you like, girl, get a live journal, right? Like,
For real. Or
get a
like,
Tumblr. Like,
can you actually have a blog? Like, hello. Like, what are you doing?
your best friend has a Tumblr. You can get a Tumblr.
Yeah, for real. Like, what?
Uh,
Necessary.
here's my reenactment of the beginning of this episode. Tiki's like, Marinette, you have a diary. Marinette's like, yeah. Tiki's like, do you put everything in it? And then Marinette's like, yeah. And Tiki's like, girl, you better not put everything in it. Right. That was what was going through my head. Like, how did Tiki not freak out at that?
Well, that's what I was like. Okay, because when you like, I saw the warning you got, and I was watching the episode. I was like, oh, Tiki about to go off.
Yeah, like, come on,
But
Tiki.
no. And then and then also your reenactment made me think, like, do you put everything in your diary? Like, Tiki, what are you doing to Marinette? Like, you're so weird.
She's so creepy. Like, if you take away the cutesy little girl voice, like, oh my goodness.
She's terrifying.
I'm telling you, so terrifying. Just how did Tiki just not be? I also like. I just think she was not being like realistically protective enough of the identity, right?
Well, that's
Like,
what I think. She's like, you put everything in your diary, and then she like didn't get mad. And I was like, Tiki, like I'm mad about this, Tiki. Like, why aren't you mad about it?
maybe we'll understand Tiki someday, but not now.
I don't know. Like, I at least understand Plog. The dude just wants cheese. Like,
yeah. At least, yeah, Plug is worse, but more understandable.
He was also less irritating today because we literally didn't see him.
I didn't see him, so we don't know. Yeah, blah blah blah. Chloe's. Oh, we had the whole thing with
it locks.
The what? Oh yeah, and it
it's
locks.
Like it's
and
like
it,
a diary trap.
Yeah.
Like it's a trap. Like it'll snap shut. Like that's
and then
violent. Like,
later in the episodes, Chloe's like, "Yeah, we'll figure out everything around there as soon as I get my hands on a chainsaw." Like, oh my god, Chloe.
Chloe, calm down.
Calm down, Chloe. The whole thing with Chloe's dad, whatever his first name is, Bourgeois, winning his fourth consecutive term, and he won 97% of the vote to 3%. Like, okay, and then this whole thing with this guy just.
We've seen him before.
Yeah, we saw him because Adrian's fenced before. It's Adrian's fencing instructor in the school, and he ran for president. And he has his heritage of whatever.
He ran for mayor.
Mayor Dagencore, his ancestors. Yeah, I don't know. That whole plot was pretty ridiculous. Quickly, him as a villain turning people into knights, kind of cool. That what do you think of that dark cloud thing coming in on the circumference of
okay,
Paris?
It looked kind of terrible. Like animation wise, it was atrocious.
Yeah, that was one of the weaker animation points, I think. And
then like the black wall, I was like, this looks bad.
Reminded me of the Pharaoh, definitely.
Yeah, no, it reminded me of that. But like the black wall, like I'm like, can we animate this better? Like this looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks for a second like they're gonna get transformed into knights. Then it reminds me of this thing I saw on Tumblr, like this video of like one of the two gets akumatized, and then they like go up to the other one, and it's like the evil version of them, and it's like supposed to be all dramatic and stuff.
Yeah.
When are they gonna akumatize Cat or Ladybug? Right? Like when's that gonna happen?
Yeah, for
definitely happening. Yeah, so just I don't know, the villain, he was kind of cool, but he's definitely not promised.
His dialogue got on my nerves so bad.
Oh, okay, yeah, so in the beginning, and we're going over here, but we can because we need to discuss in the beginning he sounded like a French person, in like a stereotypical French person in the English dub. Did you get that feeling too?
Yes.
Yeah, but like, why is he the only one that sounds French? They're literally in Paris. Why is we choosing this guy?
And then they were all chanting in French too.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what they were chanting. That's true.
I have no idea what it was. I meant to look it up, but I forgot.
I wrote it down. We'll get to it in the outline. But and then he turns into like a different voice, I think, and he's
he sounds French, like his voice actor, but then like he's just speaking like he's from the Middle Ages.
Yeah, but then he's got his old timey talk. Yeah,
and it's so
there's some good ones in the dub. I was kind of a fan of how they dubbed it. We'll get into some.
It was so annoying.
Let me keep going through the episode. Alia says my blog is a full-time job. So she's literally a teenager on Tumblr. That's just what Alia is. Okay. Chloe had been class rep since kindergarten, typical. She threatens everyone not to run. I meant to check this. So we have a name for our as people commented last week, but we also Julica. Yeah, let me get the spelling from
our fave.
You all last week in the video. Yeah, a lot of you also like Julica. Let me load the comments, and then but yeah, I don't know why they randomly name her when she was Julica, I guess. Yeah. Guleka. Why do they like name her in this episode when she had much less to do, and everyone's like, here's what I want, here's what, and Julica's like, yeah, right. And then it's like whatever she wants. So I guess they're going with like the weird girl trope with her. I don't know.
Like, who knows?
Whatever. We'll see what they do with her.
Honestly, I'm kind of afraid when if she becomes a villain, like, oh god, who knows what's gonna happen?
She better have some weird stuff happen.
Yeah, no, it better be like weird.
Yeah, that would be good. Jagged Stone is the rock star. What do we think of
Mick Jagger?
I guess I don't like. That's not what current pop stars look like.
I don't even know. Like
Yeah,
he's like some weird 80s like I don't even know.
it's like what, Russell Brand, is that his name? Right?
Yeah, I mean he's like a weird mixture of like well, he's Jagged Stone, like Mick Jagger, Rolling Stones, like he's like
I
all that
guess, yeah. But
mixed
like,
together.
is the current pop star? I don't know. They
I,
obviously, yeah, it doesn't make sense in our current climate, but I don't know. Maybe makes sense in French culture. I doubt it, but
notes. Well, I mean, there's like Eurovision. Like he kind of looks like he's on Eurovision, so maybe.
maybe. Um, yeah, we had Adrian Fenton getting the whole thing with that. We had the whole thing with the professor. The report, what that random reporter who says, "Don't be bemused, it's just the
You're
news."
like, what? What? What?
So that was so stupid.
What? What?
I don't know.
No, I get really irritated like watching the actual news because they do dumb puns, and it's like this didn't
This
even
was
make
much worse. Yeah,
sense.
he says, "Here endeth the lesson." That's the first of them that I wrote down. Yeah, they say like "Pa Lafort" or something. All of them
Yeah.
chant that. Um, Dart, the Lord of Paris. He's in the, yeah. I like he knights people. Stuff like that. Uh, what? Hand, arm around shoulder. That was another Maralia moment. There we go.
Yep.
Okay. We should mention Cat Noir, surprisingly competent this episode.
Yes, he actually. It was just him for the majority of the
Yeah,
episode.
it was. So I guess good job. Even though he obviously can't win on his own, we
Yeah,
established
clearly
that. But
he tried. He didn't use Cataclysm.
yeah, he didn't. Okay, Dylan. Okay, quickly. Dylan's rant of the week is about Lucky Charm. Lucky Charm is the dumbest thing. Here's the current use of Lucky Charm in the plot structure of Ladybug. It gets to a point where it's like an unwinnable situation, and then Marinette's just like shrug Lucky Charm, and then she gets some dumb toy, and she's like, "How do I use this?" And then she just throws it at something. She literally tickles the serious villain to like death in this. It's so dumb. It's
Yes.
so stupid.
Well,
Lucky
like for me, it's just like, why don't we use it earlier in the episode?
Yeah,
Because
no,
like
she's
if it
like
solves everything,
she
why do we
only
wait?
is capable of remembering that she has this ability when she is near death. That is
Well,
that
no,
is
like I understand, like it's this like Lucky Charm begins the countdown, but it's like if we use it early enough in the episode, we don't get to this point where
the
everything's
problem
terrible
is it always just ends it. So why don't you just use it beforehand?
immediately.
Yeah,
Like why?
no,
Like I don't
there's no
understand.
justification. Of course it
Because
has the
they always use Lucky Charm to get the object that has the Akuma in it. Like
how many, and they just have to come up with 10 different ways for Marinette's voice actors to say a blank. Well, how do I use this? And this time,
yeah,
this episode is actually like just her going, "Ooh," like she actually
like
didn't even say anything. She's going, "Ooh." So I appreciated that. So we didn't have to keep that
it's
dialogue.
just so annoying.
But yeah, no, I'd be in favor of us changing the Lucky Charm up.
Or
Uh,
like if he didn't. Well, this is the first episode that like Cat Noir didn't use Cataclysm, so maybe we can actually solve something and not have to use Lucky Charm.
yeah, I mean, it does take away, I think, from Marinette's abilities that she just has to have
Yeah.
given to her. So I don't.
Well, the thing is, like, they're really she's super competent. Like, she's always like doing stuff. It just always they get to that point. She's like, oh, I gotta use Lucky Charm. I'm like, no, like, can you just do the thing? Like, why?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they literally just have to grab an object and break it. Like, that's all they have to do.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, it's they just have to distract him by tickling him, which doesn't. It's like not even within this character, right? It doesn't make any
Like
sense.
these objects that they use, like, it doesn't even break
It's
the.
always some like
It's just
ladybug
some.
paraphernalia, right? Like now it's
It's just some distraction.
the problem. No, what they're using this is they're marketing their future merchandise, right? Like that's
I mean, I'm fine with that. That's genius,
that's
actually.
yeah, genius. I see on the outline here. My favorite pointless part, completely pointless part of the episode is they bring in this rockstar guy for no reason. Then he looks outside. He's like, "Crazed fans, I can totally get them under my
Like,
control." And
what?
then he goes outside, and then Darkblade's like, "Behold, a minstrel."
It's
And
so dumb.
I was like, I actually
And then
thought,
he knights him.
and I actually thought that was like really funny. Like, behold, a
It's
minstrel.
really like that was
There's no point to anything
no,
that
there
just
is
happened.
so pointless, like complete waste of like 20 seconds.
Oh, Ivan and Milan update. They were like clinging to each other or something, right?
Good,
It was great.
good.
Definitely the true OTP of the show.
Yes.
Um, Marinette like transforms right in the open of this giant lake.
For real.
And it's like,
What?
okay, I guess they went around the corner. Someone could still see you, Marinette. Like, okay, that's not.
Uh,
Uh, Cursed colorful acrobats. I like that he says
that was good because
I like that one
accurate.
too.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah, I think that is ooh. How about that for a ship name for Cat Noir and Ladybug? Colorful acrobats.
I don't ship it, but
I
sure.
think it's better than what's their current ship name? Um, and it's not like we have any power to change the ship names.
Yeah, no.
Uh, lady cat, cat bug. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I
some
don't even know what their ship
lady.
names
It's it's Lady Noir, right? Yeah.
are. Yeah.
So I think colorful acrobats is better than Lady Noir.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So petition all of you go onto Tumblr and start using the
Colorful
tag colorful
acrobats.
acrobats, and
Because it's a lot better.
it's a lot better. Yeah, the collapsing circle insects. Um, why did I write down insect? Is that the thing she gets? Is it an insect?
Yeah, it was like a little like wind up toy.
No, 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 no. He calls Ladybug insect. That's his like insult. Okay.
What?
So, yeah, I actually really like it's the problem is it's so in the background, but there's a lot of kind of clever.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
clever lines.
And then she just smashes the sword, and then at the end,
Okay, that was it. She smashes the sword. Like, it's a sword.
yeah, it just breaks. Don't worry about it.
Like, really?
Don't
Honestly,
worry.
that's the first time I've been bothered by like the. Usually, when they break objects, like she bends it over her knee and it snaps. I'm like that.
Isn't it? I guess it's supposed to be just be a fencing thing, right? But is it? I don't even remember.
It's like an actual sword,
Why does
though.
he have an actual sword? I don't remember. Like, I guess that happened in the episode, and it's
You
just
know, he has like a real sword. So like, okay, fencing. I'm not to insult those who fence. It's not like he actually had a sword that wasn't just for like thrusting. Like it looked like a great sword almost.
I don't remember when the genesis of the sword, but yeah, it would have to be outside of fencing.
And then she just like hits it on the
Just
ground. I'm like,
yeah,
that's not how
whatever.
that works.
Yeah, whatever. It just breaks. At the end, Ladybug's like, I can be a student leader at the same time. Student, yeah, and Trey trans. They use they. This is definitely the fair episode again. They reused the I was turned into the villain excuse, right?
Yeah.
I got turned into knight, so did I.
Yep.
And
That was really funny when Adrian comes. So did I. Worse. That was the worst.
Adrian, no one was asking about you. No one cares where you were. So
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm like, how is this not like super
I'm
suspicious?
sorry, fangirls, but really no one did care. No one asked about Adrian, right?
No, no one cared.
What a nightmare, he says.
Yeah, oh my God, I hate him so much. All of these clues, though.
No,
How?
it's
How are
yeah.
we
We didn't
this?
have that moment where it's just like frustrating, but this was kind of it.
Well, the diary, like for me,
Uh,
was super frustrating. I was like, it's literally right there.
uh, Sabrina Mar, I wrote down as their ship name, but yeah, Sabrina's like really close to Marinette at one point. Also, Sabrina's just like fawning over Marinette in that previous episode. I feel like
Yes,
that's a ship too.
probably.
You're gonna be the new
Also,
rep.
she just walks into her house.
Yeah, and her mom's like, "That's okay."
Just go upstairs. Like, really?
Yeah.
Mom, get on the ball.
I like how Sabrina sees all the pictures of Adrian, but just like doesn't care too.
That's what I think. I was like, that would be embarrassing, you would think. But no, she's
Yeah,
like, oh, I don't. Well, then, like, Chloe's, like, yelling at her the whole time. Like,
Sabrina's just too nice. I think. Yeah. Uh, I guess a frustrating part of the episode. Then Marinette's like, "I'm going to be your new representative based on capabilities," and she just gives this bad speech about like,
yes.
I don't know. I didn't really care about that speech.
I mean, it was nice for, like, Marinette's character, but it's like,
Was it though? I don't know. Maybe.
well, I mean, she kind of stands up for herself, and she's like,
Yeah, I guess that's her being confident.
like, she's like, I'm not gonna do all these things just because I want you. I'm not gonna do these things. Like, I'm not gonna make promises I can't keep.
I will say it's. I think that's as a confidence thing. That's like I couldn't see her doing that like in the beginning of the series, like
Yeah.
making a speech in front of her classmates. That does seem a little bit like of progression for a character, or whatever, right?
Well, we're seeing more and more that, like, how much her classmates respect her.
Yeah, at the beginning they was like, "Oh, Marinette's a loser," but now we're really seeing that that was kind of just a perception thing, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone seems to like her, and yeah, just it seems like everyone at some point is interacting with her in a favorable way and stuff. So I think that's kind of interesting that the show presented that as just a product of Marinette's perception of herself, right?
Well, and it's really funny because, like, they're all united in that they dislike Chloe, but it's not like the typical, like, oh my God, we hate, like, the super preppy, like, popular rich girl. Like, it's just, like, so hilarious, like, the things Chloe does. She's like the anti-rival.
Yeah, which
So
is great
everything
because
Chloe
she's the
does is
best.
ridiculous.
Who else ships Chloette? Like, tell me in the comments if you ship Chloette. And you better say
Don't do
yes,
it.
because or else Chloe will find you with a chainsaw. Because
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
At the end, Alia is her deputy. And now this time you have time for your blog too. It's like, okay, Marinette, you have your class rep, you're a superhero, and you have time for a stalker thrown to your crush, and you're also just a teenage girl. And meanwhile, your best friend thinks she doesn't have time because she runs a lady blog. So I feel like that should be more frustrating.
Yes.
It's like, okay, Alia, like,
Okay.
Alia definitely has a secret life. I'm putting that
No,
out there.
no, Alia, like, if Alia is actually a superhero, would not be surprised.
Yeah, because we're definitely getting those like two other ones or something at some
Yeah.
point, right? Like I think Alia is like prime candidate to be one of
You
them.
know, like, if I also, I will die of just sheer happiness.
I don't know how it would work, like how we wouldn't have seen Alia's superhero in France, but I think that should be a thing.
It should 100% be a thing.
And then the pose at the ends of them.
No, it would be great if, like, in the show it just happens, and then, like, Alia's like, Marinette, you would not believe what happened, and then she gets done talking, and Marinette's like, LOL, guess what?
Yes, yeah. It's like, yeah, in that case, Alia's gonna be pissed though, because
Alia's
she immediately told her best friend, but
And then
no.
Marinette's like, oh, well, this is kind of awkward, Alia, but, and then, like,
Well, how would Alia react to that? Would she be like
that'd be so
upset, or
great.
would she just like freak out because she's such a ladybug fan,
I
right?
honestly think she'd, like, faint.
I think
Pass
she would
out.
just like kiss Marinette right there.
Okay, that's what I want to happen, yes.
Are we writing this fic now? Okay,
Yes.
let's get on this.
Okay, we're gonna write this. It's
It's a
gonna
lot
happen.
to Smaralia fic. Okay, let us know if you're interested in this.
It could happen.
This Smaralia fic. It's not a fic. It's a prediction.
It's a prediction. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a thing. It's gonna happen. Like,
Okay.
and
Let us know YouTube comments on overlyanimated.com, or asks on Tumblr, anything we commented on here, the many intelligent discussions we had. I like that we had the intelligent discussion at first, and then we're getting to the nonsense
that's
now.
usually what happens is it devolves.
I mean, I think people are more interested in the latter, but whatever. Like we can give them the good stuff first, but people generally more comments on the and stuff at the end. But yeah, until nice and
Junk, we say.
the junk we say. That's Delaney Stovall, overlyanimated.com. You can support us on patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, Shane and Mitch Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, and Rachel, aka Hey Now Fever, Mitch Cordell, University, Beatrice Exchange, Buzz Lightyear, Mailman, and Rachel Rose. Yeah, check out the Patreon, check out the perks of being a patron, specifically the Facebook exclusive patron group, which is great, and the patron exclusive podcast, which it is, considering it's the last day of the month, I have to schedule, so I'll remember to do that ahead of time now. And
Also, you get edits of me and Dylan saying dumb things.
yeah, which I don't even listen to, so you can
just
get
whatever
that.
Dylan and I are talking about.
Patreon.com/overlyanimated. And yeah, so thanks for listening as always, guys, and let us know what you thought. I didn't comment individually last week because, again, YouTube is being dumb and eating my comments, but thank you very much for commenting. I definitely read all of them. But yeah, let us know. You could also give us spoiler-free reactions to the to the Origins episode. I'm sure someone will spoil me on Tumblr, but we'll see. Maybe
I'm going to avoid it like the plague. I've gotten really good at being like, this is a Miraculous Ladybug blog. Bloop. Get away.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, okay. I'm sick. That's why Delaney sounds like an alien.
You actually sound fine.
Recording.
Like I didn't think people would notice. Like I think you sounded fine.
Okay. I
Yeah.
just, in case.
I was pretty impressed with your stage voice.
I try.
Yeah. You're rivaling my stage voice here.
Oh, it happens sometimes.
Next
I literally just got out of a discussion class, and I was like, I have to sound like I'm not dying right now.
Yeah. I mean, you succeeded, I think. When we got on call, it was the opposite, but you pulled it.
I was trying.
The gamer did not air on Saturday, by the way. I know that's on Wikipedia. It didn't air.
Oh right, that's what. Yeah, that weird whatever.
Yeah, it didn't happen. Next week is the mime, Le Mime.
Oh great. Okay, how are we this far in Ladybug and we haven't had a mime episode yet? How?
Okay, you'll get that
We haven't
type
even seen a mime. How has this happened?
I feel like that's offensive, but
Well, okay, it's offensive, but like the thing is, like, literally you watch things and this is how it works. So
the show has been somewhat stereotypical at times.
yeah, that's my thing. I was like, it's a stereotypical kid show set in France. Like, there should have been a mime before this point.
We will get into the mime.
That there hasn't been a mime.
Yeah, but it's happening now with episode 13, and we're actually going in order. And then oh, by the way, Nick updated their listings. We're going to keep going past the time when France took a break, like continuous from here on out.
So we might catch up.
I think France is just going to be weekly until the season ends, but I'm not sure. Maybe we might catch up. We'll see if Canada catches up. So I should probably check that out because if they're airing it in English, it's like, what's the point of following Nick's order, right? Like if Canada,
Yeah.
I'll look into that. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.